These are 4 league-winning running backs that you need to be drafting in 2023 fantasy football redraft leagues. So we're going to go through 4 guys that we think will not only pay off their current ADP, but there are guys that we think can give you that championship this year. I'll start us off with Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie. The team absolutely freaked out when they drafted him after they traded up for him at 12, I believe.
Yep.
They have a top 2 offensive line in the league. They have the easiest strength of schedule for running backs. Jahmyr Gibbs, like 4.3 speed and 91st percentile speed score. He is one of the top 5 running backs in the last decade in yards per route run. He's going to crush it as a pass catching back. So I think he has a path to getting 100 targets in his rookie year, which sounds crazy, but I mean it's giving me like the Gibbs and Montgomery duo is giving me major flashbacks to Kamara and Ingram. To where there was that time it was believe it was Kamara's rookie year, but Kamara obviously was drafted much later, and he came on throughout the year, and you would both see them constantly finishing like top 5 running backs, top 10 running backs. They were both finishing up there every single week. So the last 6 rookie running backs to be drafted top 12 and their fantasy finish, we got 2018 Saquon, finished as running back 2. 2017 CMC, running back 11. 2017 Lenny, RB8. 2016 Zeke, RB2. 2015 Todd Gurley, running back 7. 2012 Trent Richardson, RB8. So, these rookie running backs that get drafted, the teams use them, and I think Gibbs is going to be utilized as a receiver a ton. And he's currently being drafted as running back 15 in the 4th round. Draft Gibbs all day long. You can get him as your running back 1 if you want to, and load up on receivers in the first 2 rounds. He's going to help win many leagues this year.
Yeah, they've been talking about lining him out in the slot a ton too. Just like,
especially with Jameson Williams gone for the first however many, like it's Amon-Ra and who else? The draft, a rookie tight end Laporta. You got like Dust Balls, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Jones.
Cyphers there.
Who are you throwing the ball to? Like
Jameson Williams
later in the year, but
yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to build off of that rookie campaign stat you had there, PB. If you're looking for a surefire guy and you loved Cordell Patterson in the past, let me tell you, you are going to love Bijan Robinson. Number 1 rush offense in the NFL last year, clear-cut, 3-down back, Bijan. He's going to be awesome. Every pro scout out there has been throwing crazy historical, successfully running backs around, like Marshall Faulk, the next Saquon Barkley, like everyone's touting him to be the next premier running back in the league. So he's in the perfect situation. The Falcons have a really good offensive line, kind of low key. But I think last year their entire offensive line was built around 1st-round picks. So
they're huge. Like they're like such physical guys. That Falcon offensive line is mean.
Yeah. So he's gonna get a ton of volume in the run game. I think it's an easy 1,000-yard season for him, 10 touchdowns there. And he's definitely a threat in the passing game. They've been, throwing him all over the field just to test him out to see what his limits are. And the answer there is it's unlimited. So with a young quarterback in Desmond Ridder, who's not as dependable as some people might like, they're going to lean on the run, and their newly drafted running back at a top 10 pick here. So you should keep him in your top 10 and go win a league with Bijan. Hook 'em horns.
I'll add on to that. If you get 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns out of Bijan, I think that's a disappointing season. So I don't.
That's true. I'm saying that's the floor.
Yeah, I mean, I see closer to the 2,000-yard like scrimmage yards and like double-digit touchdowns anywhere from 10 to 15. So that's the type of season you can expect from Bijan Robinson.
Yeah. If you were to tell me, like, go find the next CMC, it's Bijan.
Or better, possibly.
Potentially. We'll see what he's got.
All right.
I got number 3 here, and this is a little bit of a later round pick here, and that is Alexander Madison as RB 21 off the board. We all know who Alexander Madison is, premier backup to Dalvin Cook. Well, if you're living underneath a rock, Dalvin Cook is no longer there. So just to let you know, guys know, Dalvin Cook last year had 264 carries and 39 receptions. Alexander Madison, obviously his backup, had way less than that. And the issue there, or the no issue there now, is there is no backup behind Madison. I mean, their backups are like what, Joe McKnight and
It's Ty Chandler and Dwayne McBride is like 7th round pick.
I don't know why I said Joe McKnight, because I was just looking at the Jets roster, so that's why it stuck in my head. But yeah, so okay, so yeah, those are the backups there. There's no clear, guy who's going to take volume from Madison here. Just to let you guys know, Madison and the Vikings have the 3rd easiest running back schedule across the NFL. When Cook was injured, which was quite often in 2021, Madison averaged 23.7 PPR points per game. In those games that Cook was injured, he had at least 90 yards rushing. He's 25 years old. He's still very young running back. I was actually really surprised when I saw that. I thought he was much older than that, because it just feels like he's been in the league for a very long time, and he has no wear and tear on his body. So he's set up for a lot of volume this season. Last thing here for you guys, Madison had an 84.2 PFF grade, rushing grade, which ranked 15th amongst 61 running backs with at least 70 carries in 2022. And the Vikings were a top 10 scoring offense last year. So yes, the Vikings are primarily a passing offense, but there's still a lot of volume in the running game. And I think Madison is even a better receiving back than Dalvin Cook was. So I really do think that Madison is set up for a really good year. And at where he's going, he can easily finish within the top 12 running backs. So draft Madison.
Yeah, he could definitely, even higher than that. I think he could finish higher than top 12. All right, Alex, you want to round us out?
Yeah, rounding us out, we've got Tony Pollard, Tony P, going in the late second round as RB9 right now. Tony Pollard is extremely efficient in both the rushing and the receiving game. Mike McCarthy has always been a run-heavy play caller, and he is now the clear lead back with next to no competition for the first time in his career. So let's dive into Tony P's efficiency. In the passing game, he averaged 1.82 yards per route, which ranked 4th among running backs last year, and got a 10.9% target share and 9.5 yards per reception, which was good enough for number 2 with all running backs in the league. And then you look at the rushing game, he averaged 5.9 yards per touch, which was 5th in the league, and 5.2 yards per carry, which is 2nd in the league, only behind Aaron Jones. On top of that, as we mentioned in a previous video, 8.8, almost 9% of his runs went for at least 15 yards last year, which was 4th highest in the league. And he was also 1st in yards after contact per attempt. Let's not forget also, he got better as the year went on, which is when it matters in fantasy football, partially because of extended playing time, but he still ranked as RB2, averaging 22 PPR points per game from weeks 8 through 16. So while he might suffer from Kellen Moore's departure, Mike McCarthy has always been a run-heavy play caller. In 2022, Pollard had 232 touches and finished as RB8. None of the other top 12 RBs had fewer than 270 touches, meaning he put up RB8 numbers on significantly less carries than the other guys. And on top of that, Zeke had 248 touches last year. He actually had 16 more than Pollard, which shocked me. Of those touches, 70% for Zeke were in the red zone, which Pollard is now going to get most of. And when given 10 or more carries last season, he averaged 19.3 PPR points per game, which was good enough for RB3. Then we look at the passing game again, right? So they added Brandon Cooks, but they also lost Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown, and T.Y. Hilton. Pollard saw 55 targets last year, but with all these wide receiver departures and not sharing nearly as many snaps, I expect to see significant upticks in those targets this year, which leads me to my final point. Pollard is the clear lead back with next to no competition. The current Cowboys depth chart is Malik Davis, Deuce Vaughn, and Ronald Jones, who is suspended and definitely a cut candidate. So as I mentioned, he finished as RB8 last year, despite seeing fewer than 50% of the snaps in 8 games. And in the games that he saw more than 50% of snaps, he averaged over 100 yards and almost a touchdown a game. So Tony P is primed for workhorse running back numbers, and I fully expect him to exceed that ADP and be a year-long league winner.
Yes.
Yep. Tony Pollard. Steal where he's going right now.
We've been waiting years in the making. The fantasy football community has been waiting. We finally saw some of it last year, and I think we get a full year of it now.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Those are 4 league-winning running backs you need to be drafting this year. We'll be back for a final episode of 4 tight ends that we think are league winners. Thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Helps out the channel a lot, and we will see you next time.